Hello drivers, it's your spring update for Phantom. A few policies and procedures that have changed, some information that you as a good driver want to know. So let's get started. The first thing is Phantom's spring projects are complete. The first project is we have a new cushion. And it fits, and the back of the boat crew loves it. The second and major project is the resurfacing of the decks is also complete. That also includes the resurfacing of the aft deck area. Now, not only does Phantom feel good about how good she looks, it's more than cosmetics. It's also about safety. So let's talk about safety for just a moment. The first on our list of safety items is to remind you, that's the emergency pump. If all of our 3 bilge pumps fail, there you go. You open that flap, you stick in the handle, and you pump like crazy. But we also have a second-hand pump. In the aft bait tank area, we have this hand pump. In the main cabin, here's where we're keeping the flares. We have both handheld and gun-type flares. Naturally, of course, we hope we never need them, but if we do, there they are. We hope we never have a man overboard, but if we do, there's where we're keeping the life preserver, and we've attached a throw line to it. Naturally, be sure you hold on to that end when you give it a good toss. Last on our list of safety items, life preserver. Now, it's not mandatory, but I do recommend that you wear your life preserver. You are the captain of this ship and responsible for all the lives on board. And of course, some of you are going to be going forward on the deck to use Mr. Hook to tie up to the S-mark. That's when you need the security and safety of having your life vest. So please wear your life vest when you're driving. We are going to have a change in policy for the master breaker panel. The new policy is don't touch anything. Don't switch anything on. Don't switch anything off. Just leave all those switches exactly the way that they are. All of you are experienced skippers. You know your own boats like you know the back of your hand. You know the momentum. You know how to bring it into the dock. With Phantom, you don't drive her quite as often. So I am going to suggest that when you're coming into the dock, that you follow certain procedures. And we'll outline those in just a moment. But the primary thing is the angle of the boat as you approach the dock, taking into consideration wind, which is normally always coming across your port bow. And my father, who was an old captain on a World War II subchaser, said, your boat should always be going the speed of the dock. So what you'll see next is my little recommended approach angle to the dock. Here's the angle of approach to the dock when you're driving Phantom that I recommend. Some of you have heard me say that my father was a captain of a subchaser in World War II, a 220-foot long boat. And his advice was, your boat should always be going the same speed as the dock. Now, yes, you need a little momentum, but my recommendation is about 300 feet or so from the dock, you're already in, let's call it, slow cruise mode. That is, the throttle is in only the first position forward. As you're maybe 150 feet away from the dock, I recommend you pull it back into neutral. Now you're watching your wind. You're starting to turn the wheel to the left. You have, of course, your bow thruster on, and you need a little momentum. So I use the phrase tap forward. That means take the throttle, put it in the first forward position for just a couple of seconds. then bring it back to neutral. Maybe use your wheel a little bit more to the left. Maybe use your bow thruster. But your boat should be going the same speed as the dock. And the reason I recommend this angle, of course, is because we always have a wind from port to starboard. Sometimes it's stronger than others, but this is going to give you some leeway. Again, it's only my recommendation. You guys are all experienced skippers, but your experience primarily is with your own boat. When you're at the helm of Phantom approaching the dock, this is the angle as you're approaching that I do not recommend. And the reason being is that your boat should not have much momentum. So if there is a wind blowing from port to starboard, it's going to blow you right into the dock before you're ready. And you could be smudging the sides unintentionally. Last season, the chase boat was responsible for putting the orange pin over the side at the start of the race. After all the classes had started, then it was Phantom that went out and picked up the pin. This year, most of the time, we're going to have the luxury of Sandy Bartiromo and her crew on the chase boat, and they will follow us out. So once the orange pin is in the water, if the wind changes and it needs to be moved, they'll be the ones to go drag the pin to the new location. And after the 4 classes have started, while Phantom heads back to port, chase boat will be the one to retrieve the pin. Now, what will happen is sometimes you're going to find what we see here, and there's several different ways that you can put this all back together. Here's the way that I like. Okay, so my recommendation is the mushroom anchor goes in first. Then let's take the chain and the line and put it around the tunnel. So we're going around and around and around, and the reason being is once you are out on the water and you throw this over, you don't want any tangles in the line. So this way it's nice and organized. We'll get to the pin chain in just a moment here. But you obviously, of course, do not want a fouled line. So around and round the line goes. We're almost there. Now the suspense is building. Okay, so we're there, and we're now ready to carry the bucket and the pin and put it on board. Right before you lock up the hatch and close up for the night, there's one thing that I ask that you do, and that is make sure that you can hear the dehumidifier running. That tells you that the shore power is properly hooked up. We have had an incident recently where the shore power was hooked up at both ends, on Phantom and on the pedestal. But there was no power because someone had flipped the breaker. So as a safety check, make sure that you can hear the dehumidifier running. The other is, listen for strange noises. And by strange noises, something was running when I went to close up last time, and I had to search for it, but I found it. In the main cabin, we have 2 floats that power 2 bilge pumps. One of those floats, the one that you see at the top of the screen, for some reason had gotten stuck. And even though it had pumped out all the water that it could, it was still running. Now, it was nothing more than me just opening this little hatch and jiggling it a couple of times, and now it's just fine. But if I hadn't investigated what the strange noise was, that would have then been running 24 hours a day until the next time someone took Phantom out. So always listen for strange noises right before you're about to close down for the evening. Lastly, I've mentioned before, share the fun. Everyone likes to drive, But there are other obligations that the two drivers have together, such as using Mr. Hook on the S mark, throwing over and retrieving the orange pin. Now also helping with the new pole that displays the course numbers. So again, I'll emphasize, it's up to the two drivers to decide how to share. But a typical sharing might be driver number one drives out, driver number two is the one that attaches to S mark and throws the orange pin over. Now, I should say as an aside, some of our older drivers do have balance concerns, and so in that case, they're not available to use Mr. Hook. But if you're physically able, driver number two uses Mr. Hook and throws the orange pin over the stern. When it's time to detach from S mark, the drivers trade places. Driver number one is the one that goes forward and detaches from S mark and picks up the orange pin. And when we get to the finish line, throws out the anchor and retrieves the anchor, while driver number two is the one that drives back and then also drives up the channel to come into the dock. But again, I want to emphasize, it's totally up to the two of you to decide how to split up those obligations. So that's it for the spring edition of Phantom Fun. I'm looking forward to June. We're 2 months into the program. And for those of you that haven't had a chance to drive in June, I hope you step up and get some time on Phantom. Thanks for watching.